nothing in this pattern about Marianne's interpretation of that event?
Well, actually, we did that. So the second step we did here, it's your automatic frames. So we check what frames, what meanings, what beliefs she has about that.
Got that?
Yeah.
Then afterwards, the following steps, so we don't go, there's no going back to that though.
No, because we changed that.
Okay.
So we already are aware of that. And what we do now is we give her, so we have new frames. So now I start to have different frames about how I can be fallible. And the main thing we're doing here is to give ourselves permission. Mainly the thing that you will notice in the second step, I'm blaming myself, I'm doing the negative self-talk because I don't give myself permission to do that. So once we address that later by letting the client or letting the person give themselves permission to do that, that is no longer a problem.
Okay.
Thank you for your question. Yeah. Other questions? Other questions, comments, challenges that you had while doing the pattern? Well, I know that I did it really great, but I think you might have questions. Okay, so we have one here. No.
I just want to make a comment.
Sure.
When I was doing that permission thing, sometimes when we frame, sometimes we accept not ourselves, but others. So something happens and then we say, I accept what he did wrong instead of what I did wrong. So when my experience is having that distinctions, something that in my part that caused that person do something wrong, that's the one that I need to accept, not to accept the other.
To make sure that I understand you, what you're saying here, if I'm in a training room and the problem is because of someone else,
yes,
I need to accept that myself?
Yeah, so instead of accepting myself, I accept somebody make a mistake.
Well, I'd like to think about it also in a different way. As the trainer, I'm the one that's eventually responsible. So even if others are doing things, I'm the one, even if I'm delegating things to others, it's my responsibility to check and make sure that everything is going well.
Yeah.
So I need to give myself permission to accept that I did something wrong.
Yeah, so I think that's the distinction. When running this pattern, make sure it's accepting self, not accepting somebody make a mistake.
Exactly. Thank you for that. More questions? Yep.
Okay, I'm Rio from Indonesia. I'd like to ask about last time when my partner did the pattern with me, and then at some level she asked, "Do you accept to make a mistake?" And then I want to answer yes, but deep inside me I cannot answer it because I think no, it's just such a stupid things to do.
Okay.
So and then I keep answering I can't accept that, and then it's over and over again when she asks, and I keep repeating the answers like that.
Okay, so the issue you're talking about is at this permission part when the coach is asking you, do you give yourself permission? And for you, it's no. So what you need to do is, and that's from the APG, we tell the client, go inside and tell yourself, I give myself permission to do that. And you notice what sound and what voice and what words you're telling yourself. Then as a coach, you need to reframe that and give it a different meaning. So that could be one thing you can do. Something else is to keep repeating to yourself, I give myself permission to be fallible. I give myself permission to be fallible. The more you repeat it, the more you start to accept and to integrate that.
Okay.
And one of the things we did in the EPG is to ask the client, how many times you need to repeat that yourself? How many times you need to go inside and tell yourself, I give myself permission to be fallible?
Okay.
Okay. Did I answer you?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have more questions?
Hi, Tariq. I'm Aidil from Indonesia. I'm still confused about the paradox of fallibility. That you said the more you accept fallible, the less mistake you make. I'm still wondering what is the background of this paradox of fallibility.
Okay. So your question is about the comment I made when I said that the more fallible you are, the less mistakes you do. And this is actually comes from a simple concept, which is about what you resist persists. what you resist persists. The more you're obsessed about something and the more you're afraid from doing something, the higher the probability you'll be doing it. When I have the mindset that if I make mistakes, it's going to be fine. If I make mistakes, it's not going to be an issue, then you're not really worried about that. And when mistakes happen, you're able to recover quickly. So today, actually, the story that I was telling you about my PowerPoint not working, it actually happened here in real time. Most of you didn't notice, but for me, I knew that I'm presenting this and I'm talking about this, so I was actually applying that at the same time. Because I know that I'm fallible, I'm going to make mistakes, the less the mistakes are going to affect my presentation, and the less the probability that they're going to happen. So remember that what you resist persists. So thank you for your questions. Before I end, I'd like to bring your attention to two things that can go wrong, or maybe you'll apply it in a way that's not resourceful or useful for you. So the first point here is don't excuse yourself from preparing. Some people will say, I'm fallible, so I don't need to prepare, I don't need to be ready, I don't need to do my work. No, this is different. So what we mean by fallible is when you do your best, you prepare and everything from your side, you took responsibility for that, and then things out of your control happens. Then you should accept that, and that's not an issue. But if you're being negligent, how do you say that? Negligent? Or when you're being not preparing and not taking the responsibility to give your best. So no, this is something different. And the second point also, you are fallible, but you're still accountable. And what that means is don't escape from responsibility. So when people are talking to you and asking you, why did you do that? Don't say because I'm fallible. If there's a mistake, you need to take accountability of that and see how we can change and fix that. So problems will happen, still I'm accountable, and I need to make sure that if I do something wrong, I fix that and I give the best value to the audience and attendees. Thank you, I hope you enjoyed that and it was useful for you. Thank you.